Welcome to an episode of the Mental Health Series podcast of BW Wellbeing World or BW Business World. Today we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Anu Teotia. Dr. Teotia is an assistant professor in psychology and a psychotherapist. Welcome, ma'am. Today we're going to talk about imposter syndrome and what it is exactly. So, ma'am, in the simplest possible way, could you please tell us what is imposter syndrome?
I would like to start with a very simple idea that is it happening to you that every time you are getting an achievement or you are getting something in your life which is really very significant to you and you end up questioning yourself that maybe I don't deserve it, or is it like, do I really deserve it? So from that thought process, what happens in imposter syndrome that people feel like an imposter, they consider themselves an imposter. Why it happens? Because they have a tendency to question themselves every time, to have that self doubt that I don't deserve what I am achieving because maybe I don't have the abilities. So, this is what is called imposter syndrome, that you don't believe in your own caliber, in your own abilities, and you think that whatever achievement or success you are having in your life, it is because of something else, not because of your own abilities here. And also, what is happening with that thought process that they have a lot of fear of being discovered as intellectual fraud. So I don't believe in my capabilities, and I also feel one day people will know that I'm not that good, or what I have today is not something I deserve or I have capabilities for.
Ma'am, but how is it caused basically, and is there a cure for it?
Yeah, definitely. So imposter syndrome generally seen in high achievers. Interestingly, the people who are achieving a lot in their lives, they end up questioning themselves. When initially, during 1978, when people started noticing it, and there were two psychologists, Pauline and Suzanne, they started working with a lot of females who were high achievers and questioning themselves a lot and having those self doubts. They realized that it is coming from the kind of mindset where they are not able to internalize their own success. And why people are not able to internalize their own success, their own achievements in their lives? Because they have a kind of tendency to attribute every good thing to something outside their own caliber, their own abilities, their own, uh, I would say, talent. So they always end up saying that I got this position or this uh, thing in my life because maybe I was lucky enough or I was liked enough, not because I was talented enough. And also, the kind of experiences we had till today, that whenever I'm telling people that I have achieved something in my life, how the people around me, the significant others, taking that, and what is their idea of that? Are they telling me that yes, you always deserve that, or they are ending up criticizing me, saying that I don't know how you got it? So when we get a lot of invalidation in our environment and criticism, yes, we do end up criticizing ourselves and having those self doubts. So this is the area from where it is being caused and coming from. Of course, we can easily understand that where the cure lies. So I think first of all, what is required to be done is to realize and to acknowledge that this, something like that is happening with me. So whenever something good happens, what I tell myself, am I beating myself up that, oh, I maybe not, the person who deserve it. So acknowledging, accepting that something like that is happening, and then working on it in a way that you go to the people who can give you legitimate feedback. So have your own team of people, the people who can tell you the exact reality, who can bring you out of this fantasy world that you are not good enough. This is not real what you are carrying in your mind. So these could be your friends, these could be your family members, and maybe your mentors who can tell you the exact reality, that what is the talent you are carrying, what you are getting is because of your expertise, your talent, your skill set, not because of some outside factor. You can work on the tendency of beating yourself up every time you have any kind of failure in your life, because this is also being seen. with this syndrome, that people are into perfectionism. They want to be perfect. And when you target perfectionism, it is not a realistic target. You should always target excellence rather than perfectionism. And any failure is just a learning. So take the learning and embrace those failures and move on. So this is very much required if you really want to come out of this vicious cycle of imposter syndrome.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Teotia. Dr. Teotia, what's the difference between inferiority complex and imposter syndrome?
Inferiority complex is more about that I feel that I'm not good enough. Imposter syndrome is about when I have very clear evidences in the surroundings that I'm a good achiever, I'm quite successful. I still say that whatever I have achieved, it is not because of my own talent, skill set, or my own abilities. It is because of some other factors. Inferiority complex is more wide. It is just not about questioning your intellectual caliber, it's about questioning your entire self concept. You have questions related to different aspects of yourself. So I'm not good enough, not just in the area of my intellectual caliber, but I'm not good enough even as a human being. I'm less than others. So that is about inferiority complex. Imposter syndrome comes more in that aspect where you just questioning your own uh, intellectual aspect, your own skill set, and you have this fear that one day people will know that whatever achievements you are having, you are not basically a deserving person for that. You don't deserve that. It is not because of your own, uh, I would say, your own traits, your own talent, but because of the factors outside, that somebody was not having better options available at that time, so gave you that particular post or position. You were liked enough because of your nature, not uh, that the thing that you have that skill set. That's why you are there. So it's like feeling like an intellectual fraud that comes very clearly with imposter syndrome and not there with inferiority complex.
Okay, doctor. Thank you so much. Dr. Teotia, is there a particular age group for this to occur?
Generally, we see that it starts during teenage because that is the time it becomes very, very important to me that how people look at me and how I am uh, defining myself, what is my self identity. So, generally, we see the onset during that time. That is also the time when people are trying a lot of new things. So, it is being triggered at that moment when you are trying something new, starting up something new, maybe entering the college, or you are starting your own setup. So, teenage as well as later on, later adulthood, you can see this thing happening with people.
So, is medication required, or it can be done through talk therapy and counseling to cure
Yes,
it?
that's a very important question here. I would say it depends the kind of symptoms it is bringing and what is the intensity, because what has been seen that it is just not bringing self doubt, self questioning, self loathing, perfectionism, overworking, that workaholic tendencies, but as well as it might lead to depression and generalized anxiety. So
Okay.
it is coming to that extent that people are actually getting into those clinical diagnoses. So I think it becomes important that you take professional help, just not just for therapy, but medication can also help you to come out of it, and then you can keep working on those thought processes and you can keep improving with that.
Dr. Teotia, I was just wondering, does it affect the self-esteem of a person?
Definitely. If I have a tendency of negative self talk, every time I keep telling myself that I'm not good enough, of course, I'm not going to have a very positive self image of mine. And anytime anything ambiguous happening outside, I will end up saying, maybe this was my mistake. Maybe I was wrong somewhere. Maybe uh, it is because I'm not deserving enough, good enough. So, of course, it is leading to that point where you are not going to have a very positive self image and going to impact your self concept. overall.
So, just a couple of last questions. Uh, First of all, I want to ask you that, like, when this begins in a person's life, when a person realizes he or she is diagnosed with it, what is the immediate action to be taken?
I think it's very, very important if you realize and you notice that those kind of thoughts you are also having, that anytime you are having maybe a promotion, or you are getting a salary raise, or you are getting a good degree or a good position, you are questioning yourself and asking, am I really good enough for this? Do I really deserve it? Will I be able to do the justification with this? If it is happening very repeatedly and making you feel anxious at the same moment with those thoughts, you need to sit with yourself and to realize that, is it imposter syndrome I'm getting into? Is it happening every time I'm having anything good in my life? And once you acknowledge and accept that, you can start working on that. And you can start with the idea that you can note down all the achievements you had till today in your life, and have a very clear picture that this is what is real. This is what I achieved till today. And every time that is not logically possible, that it was luck factor. So what is real and what is unreal, you start seeing that very clearly once you have it on a piece of paper. So list out all the achievements, look at it, come out of that fantasy world which is telling you you are not good enough, and then also go to your team, the team of your own people, who can give you a very, very uh, good, not in the sense of positive feedback, but which is realistic feedback, that what are the traits or skills you are carrying, what are the good things you are carrying within yourself, and what might be your weaknesses. To get a very clear picture, be into that real world. And if you feel any time that those thoughts are coming to you again, you can tell yourself, oh, my mind is playing tricks with me again. I'm again having a thought that I don't deserve it. This way, you detach yourself with that negative thought process, negative self talk, and you start realizing that this is not what is true about me. And if it is still not working for you, you are still struggling, you are still not able to take praise when people are praising you, you struggle with that, you every time question yourself, I think it's a good time to go for professional help. Because what's the point of not living your life to the fullest when everything is so good around? You're doing your
Yes.
level best, you're achieving good things, but you're still not uh, able to internalize those good things. So that's very, very important that you realize the value of it, the value of life, and you count your blessings, and you see it clearly, and you come back to reality in this way.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Anu. My last question, is it genetically possible also to get this, or it's not got anything to do with genetics?
We always talk about nature, nurture, and that's a kind of a debate always there. So, what kind of literature we have today regarding this? It says that we are not able to identify any particular gene, but yes, definitely it couldn't be just the environment. We are definitely carrying some vulnerability which is making us more prone to what is there. So, it's like if I am carrying petrol with me, I will be catching fire. If I am not carrying that petrol with me, I will not be catching fire even if it is there outside. So there's something which must be there, which is making people prone to it. But we have a lot of hope with that idea that environment plays a major role here. So if I'm having a very supportive environment, there is a large possibility I might not end up questioning myself. This is also coming from that learning, because when all I have seen till today that people are questioning me, of course I will end up questioning me, and that self invalidation will come, which is a major factor in imposter syndrome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Teotia. We're very grateful that you took out time for this. Thank you. This was very insightful, and I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from this. Thank you so much, Dr. Teotia.
Thank you, Kavi, and it's my pleasure to be here. It's always good to discuss about these important things. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.